Here's one for all the titos and the titas of Manila. Get ready to party like it is the 80s with a concert taking place this weekend. It's called New Wave Invasion. To tell us more, we have on the final word Steve Kilbey, lead singer and bassist of the Church, and Frank Kearns, founder and guitarist of Cactus World News. Steve, Frank.
Yeah!
Welcome to the Philippines.
Thank you.
It's natural to be in Cactus World News to be in CNN.
Yes, absolutely. And how are you finding it so far, your first 2 or 3 days here in the country?
People are very friendly. They speak really good English. They're very helpful. It's very hot outside and very cold inside, like in your waiting room. Freezing cold.
But you will feel the love and all the heat of Filipino New Wave fans is coming Saturday.
Yeah, we've met loads of people so far. We've been signing albums and talking to people. And people have come up to me and said, you know, I wrote to you 10 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Remember?
Did you receive their notes?
Yeah.
Did you receive their snail mail?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we did. We had them all in letters and stuff. But we didn't know. We had no idea.
So Steve, tell me, what makes New Wave music of the 80s still so relevant in this generation?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. I don't really like the 80s much. I still like the 60s and 70s, but I was stuck with the 80s because I was too young for the 60s and 70s. So
but
my
did you
80s...
have any influence in the music of the Church in the 80s, the 60s and the 70s?
Yeah, the Church is the Beatles and Bowie and Bob Dylan and T-Rex. So that's what I brought into the Church, all the things I really like. But I don't really like the 80s much.
You brought the Paisley shirts.
Paisley, that's why we had Paisley shirts, because we're going like, we're from the 60s.
Yes.
And I didn't like the look of the 80s. Remember those haircuts?
Yeah.
All those guys dancing like that.
What's wrong with those haircuts?
Huh? Did you have one of those?
Great mullet. I had a brilliant mullet.
And what about you? What about you, Frank? Did you love the 80s?
Yes.
Yes?
The 80s.
Okay, this guy...
don't mind, don't listen.
I won't mind him. I won't mind. What do you love? And what was the major influence of Cactus World News?
I think when we were growing up in Ireland, we had Thin Lizzy, we had U2 obviously, and we had a lot of bands mixed in together with different kind of cultures. We had Irish music as well. So,
was that you?
No, that was
That's
him.
you today.
That's
you today.
No.
That was in the 80s.
No,
There he is. There he is. Look at that hair.
Look at the hair.
Look at the hair on that.
That was a great day. That was kind of an Irish Live Aid back in 1986.
And tell me, Steve, the Church's big hits in the 80s were Unguarded Moment and Under the Milky Way.
Yeah.
What were the inspirations of those two songs?
I don't really know. I just sit down with the guitar and just write some words, and I don't know. I don't know where it all comes from. I've never tried to make it anything. I just sort of like whatever would come would come. But remember, I've written thousands and thousands of songs, so it's strange for me that people keep talking
Going
about,
back
to those
Unguarded
ones.
Moment and Under the Milky Way. Up until today, Filipinos love those two songs.
But look, I keep meeting Filipino guys in America. They're at all our shows, and they go, "Oh, everybody in the Philippines loves the 80s."
Yes.
And that's what we love. And I'm like, what happened to the 90s and the 2000s and all the
Well,
rest?
you know what? I'm one of those guys who is stuck in the 80s. I have not outgrown 80s music. And I just continue to listen to 80s music until today. So for you, Frank, Cactus World News, the big hits, Worlds Apart. Years later, The Bridge.
Yes.
Inspiration behind these 3 big hits.
Well, if you listen to those songs, when I listen back to them now, they seem really fast. There's like an energy of trying to escape our situation. Because when we grew up in Ireland, it was kind of like black and white, and then it became colour when we got into a band, basically. It was just an escape. And it's kind of like liberation, rock and roll liberation.
And you mentioned, Steve, that you have written thousands of
songs.
Thousands.
Thousands.
So up until today, you're writing songs and recording songs.
Yeah. I just did a tour of America. We've got a brand new album out. Yeah, I'm writing all the time. All the time.
And where do you get your inspiration? And do you think that the bands and musicians of today are still influenced by the music of the 80s?
I think some are, yeah. I think, yeah.
You can hear
definitely.
it. You can hear it.
Yeah.
Where can you hear it, Frank?
You can hear it with young bands in particular.
Are they the British bands? Are they the American
Irish,
bands?
British, Australian. When I work with young people a lot, and when they listen to music, they don't have any kind of filter. They just listen to the music, and when it moves them, it moves. They don't care where it's come from. You know, if it's a great piece of music, they absolutely love it. I suppose in the past, where I came from, in the 70s with punk rock, we had these kind of like, you know, silos.
Yeah.
We just listened to only that type of music.
And for you, Steve, when young musicians, the Gen Zs and the millennials come up to you and ask you, what advice can you give us in terms of making music?
They never want to hear it. I always go, the same old stuff people said to me, practice. What can I do? Practice. And no, it must be something else. Practice. That's all there is. Just keep on doing
Just
it.
keep on practicing and come up with your own type
thing.
of music.
Do your own thing, yeah. That's
And
important.
like your music, your songs, have they evolved since the 80s? What has changed in your music from the 80s to today?
I'm trying to keep a continuity going. So it's a sort of a contradiction. I want to be the way I was when I started, but I want to be better than that. That same, so somebody who hears our first record would still hear our latest records 43 years later and could see that it's still the same train of thought.
And what about for you, Frank?
Yeah, and myself and Steve have done a collaboration, Speed of the Stars. So the collaboration's been really good because we kind of been able to complement each other's talents and views, and it's been really, the album's brilliant. We just made one in Italy there this year. It's really good.
Okay, collaboration, working together, working with other bands. New Wave Invasion taking place this coming weekend.
Yeah.
What can Filipino new wave enthusiasts and fans expect from the church and Steve Kilbey?
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. The Filipino drummer we've got, he's amazing.
Paolo.
We just played with him today, Paolo. Jet, he's a Filipino on guitar. He's amazing. I think we're just going to, I think it's going to be...
You're going to jam.
Yeah.
You're going to jam.
Yeah.
What do you like from what you've observed about Filipino musicians?
Passion. Passion.
Yeah.
And honesty, trustworthiness, and openness, you know? There's just no agenda. It's just like, we're here to do the music, let's do it, you know?
And they know your music.
Yeah.
They know your music from the 80s.
Yeah.
A lot of millennials and Gen Zs also have picked up new wave songs.
Yeah.
And it has been revived over and over again. It lives on.
Well, this is going to be a special show because both of the shows are going to be special because we're going to completely sort of work with new people and have a different perspective on the songs when working through them. We're going to make a few different changes that's going to make the event a special event.
I don't have to tell our viewers the songs that you're going to sing, but can you at least tell them which songs of Cactus World News will be sung this coming Saturday?
Well, if I was into Cactus World News, I'd want to hear Worlds Apart,
Right.
The Bridge, Years Later, The Promise. I want to hear those songs, and I can guarantee you're going to hear those songs.
What about from the church, Steve?
All the hits.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the hits.
What are these hits? Our Filipino viewers want to hear them straight from Steve.
You really
Kilbey.
tell. It's like someone telling the end of the tour. You're going to hear all the hits. I promise that.
Unguarded Moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Under the Milky Way.
Yes.
All right.
Reptile.
Definitely.
Reptile.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So please.
So I'm going to be playing guitar with Steve as
He's
well.
playing with me.
And of course, also in that concert, Lotus Eaters
Yes.
and Flock of Seagulls.
Flock of Seagulls. Yeah.
Lotus Eaters and Flock of Seagulls will be here tomorrow on the show.
Yeah.
So please invite our Filipino New Wave fans to your concert this coming weekend.
Well, Do you want to?
No, you do it.
Well, we'd like to invite you to a special show in the Illinois
Aquino.
Stadium, and it's on Saturday. And the wonderful DMC Promotions are promoted it, so it's going to be rocking.
Well, Jesse Cambosa is here, the producer.
Jesse's here. Great. And then in Angeles, the following day, in the casino, we have another show coming on, which is going to be brilliant. So to have 2 shows in the Philippines is absolutely fantastic.
And we can expect all the big hits.
All the big hits.
All of them.
All the big hits.
Yeah, all of them.
So the venue will be rocking with
Totally.
new wave
Rockin'.
music.
Wow, you really got the lingo, haven't you?
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us on,
joining
Rico.
us
Thank you.
on The Final Word.
Thank you.
Steve Kilbey from the Church and Frank Kearns from Cactus World News. And
Thank you.
you know some Tagalog words, right, Steve?
Well, we've got Mahal Filipino.
Okay, I'm sure you will know them
We will know the words
during your performance.
Yes, we will.